Good morning to all. I am Dr. Tina Verghese, lecturer in the Department of Periodontology, Penang International Dental College. I am here to demonstrate on hand scaling. During this pandemic situation, it's more advantageous to go for hand scaling rather than ultrasonic scaling. So the main aim is to establish and maintain the periodontal health. So we have got so many periodontal instruments. They have been designed to achieve this goal. So mainly they have been classified into diagnostic instrument, therapeutic instruments and cleaning and polishing instruments. So under diagnostic instruments we have mouth mirror, probe, explorer. And mouth mirror, it is used for retraction, indirect vision, indirect illumination and transillumination, and explorer, that is to locate subgingival deposits and to check the root surface after root planing. And then we have probe. We have different types of probes. Mainly we are using WHO probe and University of Michigan probe, otherwise Millions probe, that is to evaluate the periodontal health. Okay. And then comes the scaling instruments. Under that we have supragingival scalers and subgingival scalers, and that is under hand scaling. And under power driven we have sonic scalers and ultrasonic scalers. And then we have curettage and root planing instruments. So under that we have universal curettes and area specific curettes. And then comes the cleaning and polishing instruments. So today we are mainly dealing with the hand scaling instruments. Okay. So hand scaling instruments, we have sickle scaler, surface scaler, then Jacquard scaler or otherwise posterior scaler, and we have universal scaler U15 by 30. Okay, so the main parts of an instrument, that is like handle, then the shank, then comes the working end. Okay, so the handle, it can be of different types like serrated and smooth sized. And you can see this shank. We have frontal shank and terminal shank which connects to the working end. So this is the working end. Working end, we have a tip and the face and the back side and the lateral surface and the cutting edges. So these two are the cutting edges. Fine. So first comes, that is the sickle scaler. So as you know that it has got a tip and it has got two cutting edges, double cutting edges. So it is larger sickle, this end, this is larger sickle, so that is in triangular and cross section. The other end, it can be used for anterior interdental areas, and this one, that is a broader areas, you can use in the anterior maxillary region. Okay. And then comes the surface scaler. As the name indicates, it is used for surface areas, and it has got two cutting edge, outer cutting edge and inner cutting edge. You can see that it has got outer cutting edge and inner cutting edge. So it is beveled and it is sloped towards the working side. You can see it's sloped towards one region. So it has got two pairs, like one to the mesial and one to the distal. You can use in both sides, in right and left. So then comes the Jacquard scaler, that you know, that is, this is quadrangle shank. So that is mainly used for, so it is mainly used for posterior region. So it can be adapted to the posterior areas and interdental also. So I will be demonstrating later. Okay, then comes this one, that is the U15 by 30 universal scaler. As the name indicates, it can be used any areas, all the areas. So it has got a broader one, so it can be used anterior as well as posteriors. And this one is the 30, this is 15 and this is 30, that is U15 by 30. So this can be used in the other areas, interdental areas as well. Okay. Principles of instrumentation. Effective instrumentation is governed by a number of principles that is common to all instruments. So first one, that is accessibility, which is more important. So that is mainly governed by the position of the patient and the operator. It should be at the elbow level, and the patient should be seated in a supine position. And for the operator, he should be in a comfortable position with back erect, thighs parallel and flat feet flat on the floor. right, and it should be balanced position, and the patient should be in a comfortable level, of course. And for maxillary arch should be in chin up position, so we should adjust the headrest. And for mandibular position is the chin down position, so you have to raise the headrest. Okay, so the second principle is visibility, illumination and retraction. So we have visibility by light and retraction with mouth mirror. So here I am using the Typhoron for the demonstration. Further one is direct vision and direct illumination, and then comes the indirect vision. Okay, and then comes the indirect illumination. So that this is the indirect illumination, and then comes the indirect vision, indirect illumination. Okay. So the third principle is maintenance of the clean feel and sharpness of the instruments. That is very important for the effective instrumentation, as you know. So we have to maintain a clean feel, of course, and sharpness of the instrument is very important. So we can judge it by sight and touch. Okay, for checking the dull instrument, that is, you can just show in front of the light. If it is reflecting, that means it is dull instrument, not sharp enough. Okay, and you can just go through this sharpening stone, and if it is getting a bite on it, then it means that its sharpness is fine, and otherwise it is not that much enough sharpness is there. Okay, so the next principle is instrument stabilization. So that is by instrument grasp and finger rest. So on the grasp, modified pen grasp is most preferable one. You can see there is these three fingers acting as a single unit, so which creates a tripod effect, so which enhances the tactile sensitivity, and also we have more control over the instrument and also able to roll over it. Okay, you can see this thumb finger, okay, index finger, and this little finger acting as a single unit, and this one is used for finger rest. Okay, so the finger rest, that is to provide the instrument stability by providing a fulcrum over the. It can be of different types, like conventional, okay, cross arch or opposite arch, or like finger on finger, or you can use it for reinforced thumb finger rest, or you can index finger reinforced finger rest. Okay, so I will be demonstrating later. Okay, so this is the conventional finger rest. You can see I am just using a finger rest on the adjacent area, and this is the opposite arch. You can see, so I am getting rest on the other side of the arch. So this is cross arch. Okay, and this is the opposite arch. You can see this is the finger rest on the other side of the arch, and we are using from the other arch. Okay, so next one is the finger on finger. So we are taking rest on this finger, and then you are using this on the lingual side. Okay, so that is finger on finger. And then we have this thumb reinforced finger rest. So while I am doing in the lingual side, you can see that I am just using the thumb to reinforce, to remove. Okay, so you can use like this, that is a thumb reinforced, and index finger reinforced finger rest can be used. That is, you can see I am using this index finger for this to pull out this from the other side. So this is the index finger reinforced finger rest. So extraoral finger rest, that is like this, that is the back side of the fingers will be placing on the maxillary right region. So this is palm up position, and the other region there is the palm down. So the back side, the front surface will be facing on this, that is palm down. Okay, so then comes the instrument activation. So that is mainly governed by instrument adaptation. As you know, it should be conformed to the contour of the tooth surface. So it should be confined to the contour of the tooth surface. The manner in which this working end is placed against the tooth surface, there is adaptation. Angulation, so the angle is made by the face of the blade. There is a working end with the tooth surface, that is the angulation. So for scaling it is 45 to 90 degree, for the insertion 0 degree, and for scaling it is 45 to 90 degree. Okay, and then comes the so we have lateral pressure, that is the pressure created when a force is applied against the tooth surface. So it should be firm, moderate enough to remove the calculus from the tooth surface. Strokes, so we have this horizontal stroke, vertical stroke, okay, oblique stroke. So I will be showing later. And so the strokes, you know, that is, this is vertical stroke, okay, and this comes the horizontal strokes, okay, and it can be used as oblique stroke for removing the calculus. So these are the 3 strokes, okay.
So I'm going to do the case that is with the right starting from the maxillary posteriors to the this area, and we can continue the lingual side of the second quadrant, and then we can go with the buccal side of second quadrant, and then with the lingual side of first quadrant, okay.
So you can just keep the gauze in your non-operating side with the retracting, or if you have assistant you can give them. So I am just with the pull stroke, powerful pull stroke, you can just engage the apical end or the lateral end, and it will be like up and down, and it will be like overlapping. You can turn the instrument like this, and you can engage the apical end, and you can use the finger rest, okay. So it should be like this is like oblique stroke, okay. So you can wipe it off with this, or you can clean off the instrument by such. I would say that you should clean each area after finishing. So then we are moving on to the other region. So then I am going to use the other region, like the lingual side of second quadrant. You can see you can use the direct vision or this indirect illumination, okay. So you can engage this area. So this is the Jacquard scaler. You can engage this area and pull it off. See, that is where am I using this vertical stroke, that is from opposite arch finger rest, okay. You can turn like this with the other side, and we can clean it, okay. So this both ends you can use, one for the mesial side and one for the distal side. You can engage like this. So you should be careful that you should be from the apical end and lateral, should not traumatize without traumatizing gingiva, okay. So then I am going to the lingual side of maxillary first quadrant. So I can see I am using this indirect vision for instrumentation with the Jacquard scaler. You can just engage the apical end, and you can pull the finger rest that is from the opposite arch, okay. You can engage this. See, you can engage it and you can pull it off, right. Then you can wipe it on the gauze on the other hand. Then I am moving on to the left quadrant, like buccal side of left quadrant. I am either you can use with direct vision or with the indirect vision. Either you can use ask the patient to just slightly change head position, and you can go with the direct vision, or otherwise you can use the indirect vision, okay. So that is with the mouse, with the palm down extraoral finger rest will be using, okay. So you can engage this, and you can pull it off. The other side you can use it for the other region, and you can wipe it off. So I am going to use the anterior lingual region. You can use the other side, there is universal scaler other side. You can engage this area and you can wipe it off on the gauze. So I am using this conventional finger rest from 12 o'clock position. So as I said before, this is the surface scaler and there is a slope towards the working side. So I will show this. So this is mesial side, this is the distal side, so slope towards the distal. So I will be engaging like this. Mostly with the surface I will be using, so you can engage like this and pull it off. Okay, for the other side you can use this one, the slope towards the mesial side, so like this. Okay, you can engage mesial side, so that is mostly used for surface region. So this is the surface scaler. Okay, so then I am going to the lingual side of third quadrant. So you can see I am using the indirect illumination for this area. So I am using the posterior scaler, jacket scaler. I am engaging this region and you can pull it off. I am using the finger rest, conventional finger rest. Okay, you can break it off. Hope this is more informative for beginners, and keep on practicing. Practice makes perfect, and it's more important as a clinician, as a dental practitioner. Thank you.